Today I'm going to show you how to disassemble the display and take off the throttle on the NIU KQi2 Pro electric scooter. This can be useful in case you have any problems with the throttle or other connections inside the display, such as, for example, the error 03, which is the accelerator fault, which I have run into on my last ride. So I'm gonna look inside and see what might be the issue. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, to start we need to take off the plastic cover that's covering the display, and that is held in place with double-sided tape. So I'm first going to heat it up with a hairdryer to loosen the adhesive a bit, and that might help us when prying off the plastic cover. Okay, so let's try. Okay, so here you can see the double-sided adhesive. It only got slightly damaged on this part, and this is what you see inside. So there is a lip all around, so even if it rains quite a bit, the water shouldn't get in because it can't get through the lip. And the button has a rubber back, so it doesn't look like water can get through the button into the display either. Here is a closer look at the display. So it looks like it's held in place by 3 Phillips screws, and the whole PCB is covered in transparent material that seals it against water. Okay, so let's take out these 2 screws and see what's underneath. Okay, it looks like there are Phillips 1 screws. So now carefully try to take out the display. Okay, so after loosening the screws, you can take out this display module, and there are cable connectors up here, down here, and then some over here, and then all the cables go into this rubber cover. And then up here we can see the 2 cables, one going to the brake and another going to the throttle. So to find out which cable is which, we will need to take off this rubber sock and take a look. And this cable goes down through the stem into the controller. And the cable going to the throttle continues through here, and then it goes down here and into the throttle. So let's see how it's connected. Okay, so to get to the wiring, we need to cut this off. It's just the cable tie holding it in place, so to put it back on, you will need to get another cable tie. Okay. So here are all the connectors. Now let's see which one is from the throttle. So this cable is the throttle. It's going into this connector, which is fully plugged in, and from that connector it's going over here. So let's check it. Yep, it's fully plugged in also, so it's not a loose connection. So in this case, NIU advises you to contact them for support. So but we are going to continue. I'm going to disconnect the throttle and try to take it off the handlebars. Okay, so let's disconnect it by pressing this. And now we need to remove the rubber gasket that's holding it in place down here. And now it's just a matter of fishing it through here and the hole down here, and then getting it out. Okay, so I put a string on the end of the throttle cable so that when I push it through, I can fish out the cable back into the display afterwards. So let's, before fishing the cable out, let's try to take the grip off so that we can then slide the throttle out. Okay, it's going slowly. Okay, so we have the grip off. Now let's loosen the bolt holding the throttle in place. It's not easy to unscrew, so let's try with this. A bit more leverage. Okay. Now it's going. I can switch back to the screwdriver. Once you loosen the throttle, you can remove it from the handlebars. And then you just carefully thread the cable through the handlebars and out the bottom. Keep the string in place so you can more easily put the cable back through the handlebars when you are putting on the replacement throttle. Okay, so now let's take a look at how to install the new throttle back onto the KQi2 scooter. So this is the replacement throttle. So if you put the string through during the disassembly, and tie the string to the end of the cable so you can more easily get it through the handlebars. And you can also put some tape on it to get rid of any of the sharp edges of the connector, but that's more important on the way out than on the way in. And now you need to thread the connector through the small hole on the underside. Okay, so you need to get the connector through here, and it will continue through the handlebars, and then try to get it through this hole inside. Okay, so let's try it. You can try to use some tweezers at the end once you see the connector, so you don't pull the wires. Okay, so that's how you get it through. Now just take off the string again. Okay, so now you have the cable in here. Now you need to connect the display back to the scooter. So all the wires are different, so you should not have any problems matching them. On the KQi2, the brake wire goes into the right connector. The red connector is for models that have a front and rear brake, so the other brake would go into the red connector. Okay, so once you have all the cables connected, you can connect the main cable. I pulled mine up through the handlebars all the way up here. There is a bit of slack, so okay, so now it's just a matter of tidying up all the cables and putting them back into the waterproof rubber sock, and then you will need a new zip tie, so you can zip tie it all together. So I will play around with the wires now to tie them them up and put them inside, and then we will install the display back and attach the throttle, put back the grip, and that should be it. Also, before you put it all back together, you should test it out if it works. So let me first connect it up and see if everything works. Okay, so now all the cables are connected, so let's test it out. Okay, everything seems to be working fine. Actually, let me first put in the rubber gasket so we know how much slack we have, and then attach this before we play around with the cables. So let's put on the rubber gasket, slap it down. Okay, so it goes in this way. At least that's, yeah. Okay, it's not very easy to put back in place, but you can help yourself with a plastic spudger. Don't use metal tools or you might damage the rubber. But yeah, once it's in and seated correctly, you can still move the cable up and down depending on how much slack you want to have, because for example you don't want this extra slack, so you put it back in. So let's put on the grip so we know where to attach the throttle. Okay, I think that's all the way in. It's just a friction slide. You just slide it back on, you can twist it a bit, and when it stops moving, it's fine. There is also a slight indent on the handlebars where the throttle original was, so you can use that to line it up, and then you line it up where it's comfortable for you, roughly like this, and then you screw it back in. So let's take out the slack from the cable so it's routed nicely, and let's take an Allen key. Let's attach it. And then you can test it out if you have it in the right position. Check the cable. You don't want it too tight so there is no pressure on the throttle, but you don't also want a huge loop hanging off. So just right. And now let's turn it on again, see if everything works. Okay, and now let's put the cables back on now that we confirmed everything seems to be working. If you want to make extra sure that it's working before you put it all back together, you can put the scooter up on a chair or other platform and then spin the back wheel with your hand and engage the throttle to check if it's running correctly before you put it all back together. Okay, so bend the cables, put all the connectors as far into the rubber protector as they will go, and then you zip tie it here to provide a bit of extra water protection for the connectors. So only squeeze it lightly, don't over tighten it, otherwise the zip tie will slip off. Just tight enough so the cables don't easily slip out of the pouch. Okay, that's enough. Okay, let's put the pouch in, the cables underneath. It's just a matter of playing around with the cables so you can put the display back on with as little pressure as possible, because you don't want the cables to bunch up and press on the display. And when you are pushing it in, push it along the plastic edges, don't push on the display, on the button. Okay, once it sits nicely, before you screw it back in, you can test one last time if it's working. Now we take our screwdriver and screw it back in. Now it's seated nicely in. Make sure everything works, so everything seems to be functioning. Try the brake. The brake lights up. Okay, so once you have that tightened down, then all you have to do is reattach this display, which is put in place with double-sided tape. If for some reason the tape got a bit damaged when you were taking it off, for example mine got a bit damaged here, you might need to get some replacement double-sided tape, take this one off and then put on the new one. But if it's, I will just leave it like that. This doesn't look like a huge issue. So before you stick it back on, you should wipe the area with isopropyl alcohol to make sure there is no grease or other dirt on this part where the tape goes down. Okay, so you just wipe down the sides, get the tape attaches. Wait for a few seconds for the alcohol to evaporate. And then you can attach the screen back on. When you take the screen off, make sure you place it like this on clean surface, so all the dust goes on the top and not on your tape. Okay, so now let's line it up and push the sides. Okay, it's not coming off. Okay, and that's it. That's the replacement of the throttle. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, and if you would like to see future videos about electric scooters, be it some repairs or reviews or ride videos, you can subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.